Hey everyone, it's me from my channel. Today we are going to talk about The Lord of the Rings. Okay, so this is one of those stories that I just wish I could tell you about and make you listen to. Like it's just one of those stories that when you hear it or when you read it, it feels like you're experiencing it yourself. It's such an immersive world with amazing characters and a plot that will keep you on edge. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. So before we get started, please subscribe for more content like this. We would love to have you here in our community. And if you enjoy the videos that we make, please consider supporting us through various platforms. All the links will be provided below. All right, so we're going to start by talking about some of the major themes that are present in The Lord of the Rings, because they really help set the stage for what's to come. One of the most important themes in The Lord of the Rings is good versus evil. And Tolkien really explores this through the different characters and their choices. For example, you have Frodo, who represents good, and he has this internal struggle between his desire to help destroy the ring and his own selfish desires to keep it for himself. You also have Gollum, who represents evil, and he's completely consumed by his desire for power, and he doesn't care who he hurts in the process. And then there's Aragorn, who's kind of like the grey area between good and evil. He has the potential to be great, but he's struggling with his past, and he's not sure if he's worthy. Another important theme in The Lord of the Rings is friendship and loyalty. And you see this through the Fellowship of the Ring as they travel together to Mordor. Each member of the Fellowship is willing to sacrifice everything for their friends. Like, for example, Boromir almost betrays the group, but then he comes back and saves Merry and Pippin when they're captured by orcs. And another important theme is courage. And this is really shown through Frodo's journey, because he's basically forced to leave his hobbit hole and face the outside world. And he's constantly having to make brave decisions, even when he's afraid. And lastly, another important theme is redemption. And you see this through characters like Boromir and Gollum. They both have the opportunity to redeem themselves and atone for their past mistakes. Okay. Now that we've talked about some of the major themes, let's go ahead and get into the plot. The story begins in the Shire, where we meet Frodo Baggins. Now, Frodo is a young hobbit who lives a simple life until he inherits his uncle Bilbo's estate. And when he does this, he also inherits a mysterious ring that turns out to be the one ring created by the Dark Lord Sauron. So after finding this out, Frodo decides to leave the Shire and head to Rivendell to seek help from the wizard Gandalf. Now on his journey he meets 8 other companions who become known as the Fellowship of the Ring. There's Aragorn, who is a mysterious ranger, Legolas, who is a skilled elf, Gimli, who is a brave dwarf, Boromir, who is a noble man, Merry and Pippin, who are 2 mischievous hobbits, and of course Gandalf and the creature called Gollum, who acts as their guide. Together, this fellowship sets out on a dangerous quest to destroy the One Ring in the fires of Mount Doom in Mordor. During their journey, they face many obstacles, including orcs, trolls, giant spiders, and the terrifying Nazgul, who are Sauron's elite soldiers. But despite all these obstacles, the Fellowship manages to make it to the gates of Mordor, where they are separated. Frodo and Sam continue on alone, while the others go their separate ways. Frodo and Sam's journey takes them through the treacherous lands of Mordor, where they encounter all sorts of crazy creatures, like giant worms and nasty orcs. But they are also helped by some unexpected sources like Gollum, who becomes obsessed with getting the ring back. Eventually, they reach Mount Doom, only to be confronted by Sauron himself. In a final battle, Frodo is able to resist Sauron's temptation and destroy the ring, saving Middle-earth from eternal darkness. In the end, Frodo and his companions are hailed as heroes, and Middle-earth is plunged into a new era of peace and prosperity. But not everyone is happy with the outcome. Some hobbits are upset that Frodo left the Shire and didn't come back sooner, and some elves are sad that their time in Middle-earth is coming to an end. But despite all these mixed feelings, The Lord of the Rings ends on a note of hope and renewal. The destruction of the One Ring has restored balance to Middle-earth, and the people of the Free Peoples are ready to face whatever challenges may come their way. Now, I know that was a lot to take in, but trust me, when you read the book or watch the movie, it all makes sense. Okay, so now let's move on to some of the major characters in The Lord of the Rings. First up, we have Frodo Baggins, the protagonist of the story. He's a young hobbit who inherits his uncle's estate, which just so happens to include the One Ring. Frodo is brave, compassionate, and determined to save Middle-earth from Sauron's evil. Then we have Gandalf the Grey, a powerful wizard who guides and helps Frodo on his journey. Gandalf is wise, mysterious, and always seems to know what's best, even if we don't understand it at the time. Next, we have Aragorn, a mysterious ranger who joins Frodo's quest. Aragorn is noble, skilled, and destined to become King of Gondor. Then we have Gollum, a strange creature who acts as a guide for Frodo and Sam. Gollum is creepy, but also kind of sympathetic because he's been corrupted by the ring's power. Next, we have Samwise Gamgee, one of the best characters in the entire story. He's Frodo's gardener and best friend who sticks by his side through thick and thin. Sam is loyal, optimistic, and basically the definition of a true friend. Then we have Bilbo Baggins, Frodo's uncle, who went on his own adventures and discovered the Ring of Power. Bilbo is clever, curious, and embodies the adventurous spirit of the hobbits. Then we have Sauron, the main antagonist of the story. He's the Dark Lord who created the One Ring and wants to use it to dominate Middle-earth. Sauron is cunning, powerful, and pretty much the embodiment of evil. And lastly, we have the Balrog, a terrifying fire demon who Gandalf has to face in battle. The Balrog is powerful, ancient, and basically just a force of nature. Okay, so now that we've talked about some of the major characters, let's move on to some of the important symbols in The Lord of the Rings. One of the most important symbols in the story is the ring itself. It represents power, corruption, and the struggle between good and evil. The ring's power is so strong that it can literally warp a person's soul. Another important symbol is the number 9. It appears throughout the story and represents the Nazgul, Sauron's 9 elite soldiers. Then we have the elves, who represent wisdom, grace, and the beauty of nature. They are the oldest and wisest race in Middle-earth, and their departure symbolizes the passing of an era. Then we have the dwarves, who represent craftsmanship, resilience, and the power of community. They are skilled warriors and artisans, and their underground realm of Erebor represents the hidden treasures of Middle-earth. Next, we have the Ents, who represent nature's power and the importance of protecting the environment. They are slow to anger, but when they do get mad, they can be a force to be reckoned with. Then we have the Beacons of the West, which symbolize hope and the alliance between the free peoples of Middle-earth. The beacons are lit to call for aid, and they represent the call to arms against Sauron. And lastly, we have the Morgul Blade, a symbol of Sauron's growing power and the danger that he poses to Middle-earth. The Morgul Blade is cursed, and it represents the darkness that is spreading across the land. All right, so now that we've talked about some of the major symbols, let's go ahead and wrap things up. The Lord of the Rings is an epic tale of good versus evil that explores themes of friendship, courage, and redemption. With its unforgettable characters, immersive world-building, and timeless message, The Lord of the Rings continues to resonate with readers and viewers of all ages. If you haven't experienced this story yet, I highly recommend checking it out. So what are your thoughts on The Lord of the Rings? What's your favorite character or scene? Let us know in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and share it with your friends. Thank you so much for watching. We hope you have a wonderful day.